Share, share. Which one? Share Zoom, I guess. Sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so then yeah, and then okay, so let's go through an opportunity.
Sure.
And we can make it a brand new opportunity if we want, or it
Yeah, that'd
doesn't.
be great.
Okay, sure. Let's do that. Let's look for some test ones. Do I have a test? Okay, I'll just go to my view. Um,
You're doing this in prod. Does the is test toggle actually work?
it does.
It doesn't
So
it doesn't suppress automation that I might need to know.
no, it
Okay.
doesn't. Um, it suppresses like some automation. Like for instance, we won't notify people that this closed one. It won't create projects in another system, etc. But yeah. So let's just go with this one,
Sure.
and this is my test account. Do I have an opportunity that I can use already? Qualify. CDA multi-year. Let's use this one.
Okay.
It doesn't really make sense that it's new business because it's a customer already, but that's fine.
Okay.
Contracting negotiation. Oh, this is actually not even the right one. It's partnerships. So right away, yeah. So sorry.
Yeah,
This
no
is the
problem.
record type is partnership, so that's incorrect. Sometimes the problems with using these is that okay. So let me see. Is there qualify shred?
And so this would be a renewal.
Yeah. So this will now be a renewal one. Okay. This is better. All right. So the long and short of it is that, yeah, within our opportunity, this is also the admin view, so it's also very data heavy for fields that people don't see like
Of course.
half the time, right? So
I
like,
should have done that.
yeah. So if you log in as a sales user, it'll probably look a little bit better. But yeah, I'll just ignore a lot of the ops actions, which are like checkbox or toggles or things that we do to like trigger some automation, some automated stuff. But the long and short of it is at the start of things, they might just enter the opportunity. So it's like, hey, I'm going to sell to Earl. I believe it's 10,000. So when you don't have line items, you can just add the amounts that you want, right?
Yeah.
And then what they'll do is they'll enter some scoping information like, systems development, some notes that they need to have. By this time, though, before we even before we even create the opportunity, we would have figured out what their fiscal year end date is. So to as part of the contact to hey Harsh. Oh, maybe. Maybe I'll save your time for now, Harsh, because I'm just doing just a walkthrough of opportunities for now.
Okay. Yeah,
And
just
then
let
Hi,
me know if
Harsh.
you need any help. Hello.
yeah, I'll
Nice to
bring
meet
you in
you.
case. Yeah, this is Jan. Yeah. Great.
Alrighty.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. So before it's created, like fiscal year end date is kind of like mandatory. And this tells us like it also gives urgency. It's like, are we selling this for something that's immediately due? Are we selling something that could have been can be delivered today that was due 2 years ago? Or are we selling something in the future, as an example? Okay.
So I guess let's pause there. This is where a company might be looking to procure both to file their shred for previous years.
That's right.
And you're okay, and you're recording that on this opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like in a way and then the thing with our opportunities is that there's no such thing as overlap. It's not possible to have two 2027 fiscal periods,
Hmm.
right? Between the start and the end date, it's not possible to have another one that is at the same term.
Yeah.
So this logic is always prevalent. You'll see a lot of things for that, right? Um, when you save this opportunity and you close it, then the next 2028 one automatically gets created, and then we'll assume that it's going to be a continuation of your previous fiscal years because people don't change fiscal years unless something happens, like, a buyout, you sold your company, some kind of
Yeah.
major accounting event.
Yeah.
So let's just say that this is something that comes in as part of the lead or contact conversion to an opportunity and is seldom changed by them, by users, but
Yeah.
always changed by admins. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, so you would get this, and then after that, maybe the one thing to mention, a lot of these fields, there's only one field I think that's important, business structure. Okay, yeah, it's present on the account corporation. So like we also need to know kind of like what type of organization are you? Are you a partnerships? Is it just how you form your business? Sole proprietorship corporation that affects taxation routes as well. But one thing that you can do is a lot of these fields are like calculator fields,
Yep.
right? As you probably noticed, they're like, oh, what is this? This is calculating like numbers that they put into the scoping information of like, okay, like how much capital expenditures did you have? What was your wages last year? Um, so how much did you spend on wages? Like
Mhm.
400,000. Did you have any contractors? Yeah, we had one. Any materials? So you'd enter some preliminary information. And when you save it, it calculates like, okay,
At this point,
theoretically,
oh, sorry, go
yeah,
ahead. I,
the-
theoretically,
theoretically, these are the credits that you would get if you were operating in Quebec, in
mhm.
Ontario, in BC, in Alberta.
Based on the scoping information provided.
That's right.
And the amount is our sort of rough estimate at this point of how
It's
much
very
we're
rough.
gonna earn.
Yeah,
Okay. Excuse me.
yeah. So like what I'll do is I'll just zero those out, right? And so this is more of a tool for the sales guys, if anything, of like how to estimate. But
Mm.
I don't like this. Like this is actually it's never been updated. So when I say it's rough, it's like maybe it was working a couple years ago. I don't know that it's correct anymore. Okay.
But is it still being used or?
It is still being used probably as a rough guess. Or maybe they have another calculator. I haven't looked too closely into the sales motions, but I
Mhm.
just wanted to show you that this estimated, you see how now it reverts to zero because I took it all
Yeah.
off. But in theory, what you can do is you can populate what I had here before, like, I'll put it back.
Yeah.
400, 200, materials 100. And in theory, what you would do is um, you would kind of copy and paste. So now that that's calculated, it's like, okay, you're in your federal component for Alberta is this, and then your provincial component is this, and then you would create the line items based on that.
Based on those
Get it?
numbers. Oh, that's how that workflow goes.
Yeah.
Okay. Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Now, based on that as well, like based on that, it would
Rough figures, right?
yeah, it would translate into like, okay, if that's the total ITCs you get, then it does calculation aspects of like, okay, then it's equal to the following credits. I don't know. Actually, these are old. Actually, these are probably what I wrote. So that was estimated, right? So if you imagine before, what they would do is they would say, okay, there's 80,000 BC. They would go down here and they would put in 80,000 here. Saves them um, having to put it upstairs, right?
Yeah.
And then you would populate here. This was the original workflow.
Okay. But these fields are no longer used.
They are still used, but I'm moving away from it. Let me
Okay.
just, I'll explain.
It
This
sounds
is
like
really a stopgap, right? So this is like, so what happens is every time you need to create a new product, like we serve, now we'll provide Pennsylvania tax credits. Now we'll provide Alabama tax credits. Now we'll provide California tax credits. Then all of a sudden you run out of room on the object, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
You mean based on this design of creating a set of fields per state?
that's
It's
right.
okay, I get it.
Yeah. So instead of that, what should happen is that they create the products here.
Hmm.
And this is the thing that we're looking to edit. So if I would just go to the products page for now, actually I should press edit.
How did
Yeah,
these line items get added? Oh, they were already there when we pulled up this op, right?
yeah, they were
Okay.
already there.
Okay.
But like if we made a note of it, then what they would do is they would um you would use your picker, whatever, right, to add your
Yeah.
products. I want to add uh the BC component, the federal component, and then press next, and then you populate it, etc. And here, this is new. Okay, so we added this concept of like, hey, I want to see by line item what the credits are. So let's just assume what it was in the previous page, it was like 400,000. So you would put in 400,000 literally here, right? Save it.
You would take 400K from the calculated fields earlier, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the workflow that I want them to use. I don't want them to fill that bottom form. They should fill it out here for line items.
Oh, sorry. When you say fill it down here, you're saying you you want them to enter their wages
No,
and
no, 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 no.
expenditures. Oh,
No, no, sorry. Again, um, so what that preform was kind of like calculating what the total credits should be.
mhm. I see
Um,
what you mean. Sorry, the previous workflow is they would copy paste those calculated fields into another set of fields, but what
yeah,
you actually want is to for them to take those fields off, those calculated field values.
and put it here.
Yeah, got it, got it. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. So if I just you'll notice there's some workflow, which what it does is it was to facilitate moving to this model, right? So I'm just going to delete this for now, these ones here. And then I'll update this federal credit so it's a little more reasonable, maybe 100,000 or something. Credits here. These are also NetSuite fields here, so they're tied to NetSuite. But anyway,
Those are hard coded for the type of
for the products.
product,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. All
Which is
right.
tied to the
So
state and
that's right. All right. And so what you would have seen, notice how, oops, yeah. Okay, this is why I want to get rid of this. So there's some logic which is like keeping those in sync. Like when you update it on the line items, it's going to update it
yeah.
here, right? Or if you update it here, it's going to update on the line items. So there's a little bit of back and forth. That should go away eventually when we can transition all of this off to
So
the
like
interface that we're moving, right?
yeah.
So all like these fields should no longer be necessary anymore. That's what I'm saying. In fact, I think if I tried to save it with a value in here, it probably will complain to say that. Um, actually, what did I say? 100,000. Yeah, but there's some if you look at the automation, there's some automation to keep these in sync, right? But
Does
the
it honor the line item level though, or is it like wherever the user inputs values, the other respects that?
uh it should hold on, delete. Oh, what am I doing?
Oh,
Cancel.
you're a history
Yeah,
check.
I'm in the wrong object. Yeah, I saw it. Yep. So like for instance, if I were to edit just this amount to say like, okay, now the credits are actually 700,000. If you do it here, if we scroll back down to the bottom, you should see 700,000. There you go. See?
Right, right. But then if you edit here, it is reflected on the line items.
I don't
That's
remember if I made, yeah, I don't remember. I actually can't recall if I allowed for that, but I always tell people you need to change it on line items.
okay, okay. Um, I'm not sure if this is too early of a question, but can you explain to me the relationship between ITC credits and quantity on the line item level?
That's fine. Yeah. So, ITCs is what the customer gets.
From the
Quantity is the revenue side for us. So
fascinating.
we're going to get $70,000 from the 700 that the client gets. We're going to get 40,000 from the 400,000 that the client gets,
Yeah, you're
right? And if
doing
we
that
look at
just
the
so.
amount,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, if we look at the amount field, it should be 110, which is the sum of those.
But I was under the impression that our fees would be driven from the fee structure.
Yep. Yeah, which we haven't covered yet.
Oh yeah, but in your case, you entered the quantity yourself earlier, I think. Um,
Yeah, so actually, let's just pause. This was not a brand new op, actually.
okay.
If I did, then I would have had to fill out the fee structure first,
Uh, but
right? So
basically, this is you're
yeah,
taking you're assuming the existing fee structure.
yeah. But let's with a brand new op, this entire section would be blank, and you would have to fill it in.
Hmm.
Right? So this is like how you configure the fee structure, which is what we're also talking about moving to this op,
Yeah.
right? Like you're specifying the fee structure. So here they're saying like, hey, it's going to be this fee structure. We're going to charge them 20% of the first 100, 18% of that. Maybe I apply a discount, whatever, to, two or three, two. Anyway, so
Yeah.
once this is what we consider like configuring the fee structure. And at the top was like how many credits they're getting, and the quantity is a function of those two,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so like now that that's done, as you know, if we remember the math of 700 plus the 400, so that means $1.1 million worth of credits. If I look at this tier, $1.1 million worth of credits means it's in this band.
Hmm.
Is 8%. And so
Yeah.
therefore, this is the 8%.
So the discount is subtracting off of the list to give
And you get
actual
this
band.
final. Yeah.
Okay. I get it. Okay. But
Okay.
initially, the discount and list are equal.
Actually, there's nothing in the discount, zero. It's
Oh,
blank.
yes, yes, of course. Yes, that makes sense. Okay, sorry, proceed, go on.
Yeah. And so like here, then you get the rate. So this there's logic here that says, okay, based on this fee structure above and the credits that we had calculated, the 1.1 million total tax credits, which band should it be in? And then it knows that it's this band. So then it pulls this percentage of 8% and puts it down here.
Yeah.
And this field here is just a weird thing of like setting an upper threshold by which this band gets followed. I'll explain.
Yes.
So this is the fee structure where we're charging one percentage for everything. They call it a fixed fee op,
Yeah.
right? The other one is the standard fee.
Yeah.
This one, 20, 15, 10. So you see they prescribed before, like it's 20, and the 20, 15, 10 comes with a defined band. So now that I've selected this option, standard fee tier, if we go to the bottom, oh yeah, it didn't do it properly here. It had 20, 15, 10. And then this normally, and then we don't actually make these very often, so it's not something that people configure. It usually looks like this. So the first 100,000 will be charged at 20. The next 100,000, so the difference between 100 to 200 is 15. And then now this one here is the maximum, which is 100 million or 99 million credits. Up to 99 million credits will charge you 10%. That's how this part works.
Right. Is this the left-hand side success fee amounts? Are those auto-populated or is the rep plugging in
No one, no one
payment?
changed. Like this is our historic pricing, and clients we don't generally offer it anymore. Only for existing for previous clients. So you could say this is a grandfathered thing, and because it's grandfathered, we don't allow people to change this.
Right, but just defines the steps
Yeah, this defines
per
kind of the calculation logic.
right. Like if you in this case if you go over 100K, then 20% of that will be taken.
That's
But
right.
then for another customer, it might, the first tier might start at 80K. This is where you would
We stand like because we standardize this generally for people. And again, this is historic, grandfathered. So we're talking about a pool that's declining month over month, right? We're trying to not sell this anymore this way,
of course.
right?
Yeah.
So it's a configuration we need to support, but not one that we want to continue to maintain, right?
Hmm.
But I should be able to have, if I really wanted to, like a client still likes the tiered prospect. I should be able to, like, as part of our projects, change the range. Like, okay, for them
Yeah,
only,
yeah,
I'm gonna get this. Yeah.
yeah. I think
But
that's what I wanted to ask is,
but
the
salespeople, no ability to do this. This entire section I'm showing you, they cannot touch it.
right, right. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. A bit. I assume because that's we don't offer that kind of we
We
don't
don't offer
support it.
that. But what they touch is this.
Ah, if they want to
Get it?
define the ranges, custom ranges.
Yeah. And because we're not selling any new ones, they never ask for it, right? They never ask for this model because we don't sell it anymore, right?
And it sounds okay. But the ability to adjust ranges, it applies for both fixed fee and the standard. The
Yes.
standard. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, for what we're talking about, really, if we were making this like here at the top part, this is a very defined range, 0 to 100K, which is technically this.
Yeah, you
Okay.
don't even, it's kind of hard coded on the,
But it's hard coded. It's hard
yeah.
coded. So I want to make it like configurable like this.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. So I want to be able to support 6 tiers, 10 tiers if I wanted to, right? And that's the whole point of the project.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. As
Yeah.
little tiers and the definition of the tiers as much as possible. So, but for now, like this gives you a flavor as to how we managed it in the past historically. But when they meant to 5 tiers, then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, now just to support tiers, I need to add 3 fields for every tier, right?
Okay. Now, because I'm trying to you mentioned the other day that there are fields that we can't move away from because reporting and other systems are rely on it. Obviously, if we are going to support multiple tiers with adjustable ranges, I assume these fields in under fee structure and under fixed fee are like we can drop those. They're not part of the fields that are tied to other systems, or are they? Because
Um,
let's say, for example, because these are not going to be relevant when we start supporting, a fifth tier, for example, or a
yeah.
sixth one. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
no, the only system that I have to be aware of is for financing, like for NetSuite. Now, what they want to know is they want to know the bands.
they want to
One,
know the bands.
yeah, two, three,
Yeah.
four. So they will need this, and we actually do provide it from this, but I would update our code so that it'd be surfaced by another object as opposed to these
Okay.
fields. So we
Okay.
can get rid of this. I don't know that that's necessarily um how would I say? There actually might still be value in keeping these. Like because
Okay.
like this calculation logic, how it calculates is like very dependable. Unless, of course, it could be built another way.
But okay, but then I think if we were to incorporate the new solution over, I think we both understand that that solution, this new automation that we're bringing in, will override these fields.
Yes, that's
Okay,
right. That will
okay,
be how you update these fields. If I decide to keep these, they'll stay as is. It's kind of like how I talked about here. Like, these fields are really entirely replaced with the line items, right?
yeah,
I'm just only updating it to facilitate
yeah.
something
I,
else.
I think the question, I think I might need to rephrase it. I think I'm just trying to feel what fields have a hard dependency, or what kind of dependency to begin with, if it's um
I don't have a hard dependency on this, but I would have to see how the calculation works. And
yeah,
then maybe you need to also know how the calculation works to
yeah.
see if it can be something that can be removed or should be used because it handles the calculations. Does it make
Okay.
sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Okay. Um, There are other fields here that are worthwhile mentioning from a fee structure perspective. Fee on filing, that's just like when we deliver your claim, this is a percentage fee that says like we're gonna take right off the top, you're gonna pay us 30% of whatever it is of the final invoice, right? Or or 50%, right? Or no percent. Maybe we'll deliver you the form, but we won't collect until you get the money. That makes sense. That's what fee on filing is.
Is this
Um, I
uh
would leave it as is. It's not the scope of your focus to
yeah, yeah,
change
yeah.
this.
Ah,
I'm just
okay.
telling you. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. The only ones that are important are things like minimum invoice fields. It's like the bare minimum we will charge. So even though we have a percentage at the bottom of like 20%, right? If the calculated amount goes under 10,000, we're still going to send you an invoice for 10,000,
Yeah.
which again, I don't think the scope of the work you're doing is not going to change too. This should stay here, right? Or if we want to surface it in that pricing model, then it's fine to surface there, but it should right back here.
Oh, I see. I think what's explain AAF again?
So AEF is there's just a internal term called accepted as filed. So meaning if it's been delivered, this is actually also technically this is a cap as well. This is a fee cap. So max invoice is the maximum invoice we will
Ah,
ever send you.
okay.
Like if you get more money as a result, like we made a mistake, but the CRA said that yeah, which probably never happens, but the CRA decided to double your refund, whatever, right? Even though we said it was less, we'll still charge you this maximum fee, right?
Oh, I see.
So whereas
Okay.
this is the minimum, this is the maximum, and the in review is meant to more represent like a business scenario when you go to audits. Like, okay, if you get audited, and maybe you got audited because we didn't do a good job, maybe we won't charge you a max. The maximum fee will be not 30,000, but 20,000 because you had to go to audit.
hmm
Or it could be higher. And again, this is actually not, again, none of these fields are things that I believe are the scope of
Right.
what we're doing, right? And then the
Okay.
only other field is this threshold, which is it's only to facilitate conga sign contracts. And so it says like, hey, if like we're gonna honor this agreement, like we're gonna cap your fees at $10,000. But if you win the lottery, I expect that you're gonna pay me more. Get it?
Yeah.
So it's like if you get if you become a unicorn status, I'm not gonna do your claim for $20,000. It now has to be higher, right?
Yeah.
And so this is just like a flat amount that says if you get a cash injection of like $2 million, $20 million, we will no longer honor the max fee.
Huh?
We'll have to talk about it. Right. So again, it's just contract terms.
Yeah.
And then here, so I showed you the standard fee here, which you can see if you save it, it populates down below the 2015-10 and the 10-15, the
hmm
20-10-5 or the 15-10-5. That just pre-populates that, right, as a
Yeah.
short form to do it. We have this is where I talked about that third reseller program, Pilot. With Pilot,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And he uses an entirely different calculation logic, which again, I want to get rid of all of this and consolidate it so that it uses only the ones we saw below.
So for every opportunity, you can really only have either standard fee or pilot or fixed fee.
That's right.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But the pilot fee, I want to make this pilot fee follow more of this structure, right? Of the fixed fee op. I'm gonna get rid of this.
Okay.
It's just like for the reasons I talked about in the very beginning of the meeting. And it's like we're doing this to support one vendor only, and this calculation logic is totally different. It's like um actually yes, this calculation logic says like and actually these options are not correct because this is not the right type. If I
Okay.
change the record type to pilot, then I would actually see more options from this drop down. It's like 20% or 10%
hmm
or 15%. And then again, our take is half of whatever that 20% is, or that half of that 10% or half of that 15.
It's whatever, it's half of whatever pilot fee tier is.
That's right.
Okay.
So again, we represent it in terms of total fees, but really we should be representing in terms of our fees. And that's this whole thing I want to talk about. I was trying to get rid of. Okay.
Just
Um,
is that,
yeah,
do you want me to ignore pilot fee for now? Because I'm trying to see if it should be factored into the design.
pilot fee can be factored into this current fixed fee pilot
Yeah,
because all that I need to do is just specify that it's 10%.
like a single band.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
single
that's what
band.
it is, right? Okay,
Yeah,
with a super high range, I guess.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
again, like if you actually look at this logic, it's like actually surprisingly very it works really well. And that's why I was like, oh, I don't necessarily need to get rid of it. But like let's say see my total invoice is 120. So that's based on let's see, that's based on $1.1 million worth of credits. So let's do the math. 20% of that, that's 20. 15% of that, uh damn, I can't do the math right now, but
It's fine. I know
of,
I get the math.
of 100, that's like 50 and 35. And then, so it actually works. It like adds up the amount from the first tier, adds up the amount from the second tier, adds up the amount from the third tier, and then it calculates correctly the
Yeah.
function. And here, I need to show you the function. So this is now getting to the heart of the pricing of how this all works. Okay. So now that you see the bands, you see how it's configured, and you understand more about like how this bottom part kind of calculates the amounts out. How it works in practice is that it's centered on this field. This is the most important field, the total invoice field. Now, the total invoice field, these numbers here are always split proportional to this based on the credits above. So you can almost ignore this invoice component of these provincial amounts. You don't need to think about them.
Hmm.
Like if the number of credits, if I had an Ontario credit was 400,000, then you would know that's 400 and 400 and 700. You would know to take the full invoice and split it up appropriately amongst the other items. So it's kind of like a function of this. Okay?
Right. Yeah. And so
Okay.
is it so it's a proportion based on federal and provincial.
No, it's a proportion based on total credits.
Total. Oh, total. Okay.
Yeah. So if this is, it's like, you're doing your old mathematics. It's like, okay, your numerator, denominator, and then you're multiplying it to another numerator, denominator. The total credits is at the bottom, and then the federal component
Federal.
is on the top. And then you would multiply this out by anyway, you know the whole
Yeah.
like crisscross
Yeah.
math thing.
I think yeah, I totally get it. I think we both have two ways of arriving at the same number.
Yeah.
I get it, but I get what you're saying.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Perfect. Okay, so I'll move on. So this here is actually the crux of like how everything works. So when you add the and this is a formula by the way as well.
Mhm.
I want to show the formula, which is it's also ridiculous.
Beauty.
So formula is oh, formula is very big. Oh my gosh. Okay, I won't be able to.
No, I've seen it. I've seen it.
You probably saw it. But
Yeah,
you'll see that like all the stuff that I talked about below of like the tiers and the percentages and it adds them up and that's kind of how it calculates out, right?
so
So it's always take yeah, and then it has some outs. So for instance, we have this like overall thing like screw the calculations, it's $5. So we can overrule the whole calculation. It's kind of based on how it works. And you'll see that throughout. Like I know you
uh,
calculated an amount, it's $10. So there's always this overrule. Anyway, um, total invoice source. This is a hidden field I am only learning really about today because I was solving this other problem. Okay, so I think this part is unnecessarily complex, but I don't have the brain power to solve it just yet. It's like this. I showed you minimum invoice.
yeah.
I showed you maximum invoice, and then we talked about total credits. And then the amount is the amount at the very end by the line items, which is, the total amount, the total of the opportunity divided by is a function of all of those. So let me explain. If the total invoice is going to be less than the minimum invoice, so remember below we had it at $10,000. So if this was $5,000, then technically the total invoice needs to change to be 10,000 because that's the minimum. Even though calculation wise, it's 5,000,
Yeah.
right? Because we
Yeah.
need to respect the fact that there's a minimum. And then once this is done, as I said, all of these are functions of the total invoice. Then it can calculate like, oh, okay, based on the number of credits, the federal of that 5,000 is maybe $4,000. And then BC is 1,000, the
Hmm.
difference, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So this total invoice, in a way, serves is like the linchpin of this calculation logic. So whatever it calculates, the bottom part figures out correctly, and whatever is calculated here transfers directly to the products above under as
Really?
quantity.
No, wait, okay. Is that how where the okay, that's where it comes from.
That's right. Yeah. So
Okay.
whatever it calculates there, it will go back to the products and say the quantity is 79,540, and this one here is 45,000. And that's completely driven by this, how it calculates. So the line items, the opportunity line items are like almost a function of this calculation. So I actually don't mind this structure actually it kind of works actually, right? So that the calculation piece happens here and then it goes there to figure it out. It
And
can
then
be moved over there, but I mean it makes sense to me.
no, no, I can see that. So okay, so now you're rolling these figures down onto the line item, just so the total amount field on this
Becomes the line
opportunity
items. Yeah.
becomes sorry, what?
The total amount of the opportunity becomes the function of the product line items, which it should be, the
Yeah,
opportunity line
so
item.
essentially your total invoice should be total amount, right?
This is total amount, correct?
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I may have there's a few just this is just based on gut feel right now. I think mm, we'll have to we'll have to yeah, I have to present several options. I'm toying with an idea of I won't build it, of course. I'll present it to you first, but I'd like to give you like a custom or a more enhanced version of the product line item form,
Yeah.
where you don't have to go back and forth. We don't have flows or automation calculating values back and forth. It's
Mhm.
just you plug it into the line items, it rolls up into a total amount. And if you want to
Yeah.
reverse calculate that into total invoice for for compatibility with your systems, then we can look into that as well. But I think the way input works is through the line items because they choose the state and federal for the region that it belongs, and then they input wages, the input data, and then it should crank out all of these calculations that are broken down into your fields based on the discount tied to, or based on the fee structure tied to this opportunity.
Okay, maybe, yeah, I'll think, present me your idea. I actually don't necessarily want to, um, I don't know that I want to put this kind of stuff in there though, just to be clear, like the wages, the material, like,
Ah,
I actually don't think that that's as valuable as because like, again, these calculations, here's the thing to be aware of, right?
yeah.
Today, the government has the program at like 15%. In 3 years, it could be like 20%. So it's like almost like the rules could change year over year. So we can always prevent, so this is always presented as a best guess. It's not an exact amount of credits. And I don't
Yeah.
want it to calculate out exact credits because again, the programs could change, right?
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
I like like I had a separate epic, just to be clear, on like getting rid of this entire thing and like replacing it with a spreadsheet, to be honest. It's like we have like a calculation spreadsheet. You can just type in like, okay, what are your credits, your thing, whatever, and then it tells you the numbers down below, like, okay, this. And if I could do that, the opportunity actually becomes a much more manageable object because there's like
Okay,
50 fields that are gone that are really, yeah. So I don't want to, I don't see the need to add that into the
sure.
workflow you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I may have to refine my thought though, because I thought I had something nice, but I think it
Your other stuff sounds good to me though. It's just like that piece, like I don't know that I like it,
oh
but
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I don't
fair
think I
enough.
see the need for it. Yeah.
No, no, I totally get it. I think I have a sense of why you might not want it, but I think you can have a nice UI, but I think I do agree. I think that the solution, a rate schedule, rate tier table, I think that is consistent. Um, I'm actually also toying with the idea of, if we're gonna have a dynamic amount of bands, then I might actually I'm thinking of storing calculations on the rate tier levels and then feeding them into this opportunity just for, compatibility with you
Hmm.
know
Actually, all right. What do you mean? What are you thinking?
right now you're storing your success fee one ranges, and
Yeah.
then um the tier, and then your I think I think I think those values are going to live on the rate tier
Yes.
object, right? And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
for some reason I have at some point during the conversation I thought it made sense to have some calculated fields at the rate tier level, but that might not be true just yet. But I do definitely see your first, second, third tier, fourth fields living on the rate tier objects for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
The ranges, the percentages, that's what I have so far. I think I should probably let my thoughts settle in for a bit.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Like I think that that makes total sense. Um. So, coming back to this like calculation of the oh sorry,
The invoice.
the total invoice. There is another gotcha that again I said I just learned about today, which is there's this field. I'm just gonna point out it's actually not on the display. It's not
Oh
on
yeah,
the any of
the
the page
hidden
layouts.
field.
Yeah. Um this we introduced some uh, in an effort to provide the same type of like max fee and max fee and min fee for pilot as we do for current customers, this field was somewhat introduced or used. And in a way, it's kind of like how do I best describe it? It's like an override, kind of like the other
Yeah,
override. Like if it's present, it's used as the total invoice. So the reason is this. So it comes down to that
the
the
min
total
max.
invoice might be 5,000, but the minimum invoice is 10,000. And so based on this function, like, hey, if the total invoice is 5,000, then I would take these amounts and upload and update it to the product line items, right? You almost in a way need a way of changing what the total invoice is to reflect the fact that it's actually under the minimum invoice. And
Yeah,
that's what this field is kind of for.
you're forcing that min. Or
Yeah.
yeah, I see.
I to be fair, I don't know if maybe I actually think that this could be done differently, but that's just how it's built. And I haven't spent any time thinking about this. Like this is the one, like I actually don't like this hidden field because then it kind of obscures the logic of how everything I showed you kind of flows. It
Ah, I
actually has
see
a
where you're
flow,
going.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you calculate ITCs, then you tell the fee structure, then you add the product line items, and it looks up this, it populates this, writes it back. So it has like a very nice flow, workflow for it. But this one here is not. And
Yeah.
like and its only purpose is to serve as a condition to compare if the invoice is less than the min fee and then apply that instead of the total invoice that was calculated. Get it?
No, yeah, no, I totally get it. It's a scheme that is used more often than you think.
Yeah.
Um, I will have to end it here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just I have a hard stop, unfortunately.
Yeah, no problem.